Hello everyone. In this given opportunity, my group and I would like to present the materials about micro and macro linguistics. But before we start that, let us introduce ourselves. Hi, my name is Putu Kevin Aditya, and my student ID is 2212023001. And my friends.
Hello everyone, my name is Persia Pratik and my student ID is 221-202-1030 and my friend.
Hello everyone, my name is Kada Elvina Delia. My student ID is 22120210033 and my friend.
Hello everyone, my name is Putri Cindy Puspita Maharani and my student ID is 2212021037 and my friend Rahadian.
Hello everyone, my name is Gusti Rahadian Pradani Parameswari and my student ID is 22120210441. Back to the...
Okay, thank you so much. Next slide. Let's get started. Today's topic. According to the Krida Laksana 1984, linguistic studies are divided into two components, namely microlinguistic and macrolinguistic. Because of that, we're gonna learn about the branches of microlinguistic and also the definition of microlinguistic, the branches of macrolinguistic and also the definition of macrolinguistic. Let's get started from microlinguistic.
Okay, thank you for the time. Microlinguistic, according to Krida Laksana or language diction, according to linguistic dictionary, is a field of linguistics that study language from within, or in other words, is studying the structure of the language itself or studying the language directly. Microlinguistic direct its studies on the internal structure of particular language or in general. According to Krida Laksana, microlinguistic has several subfields, namely phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatic. As for theoretical linguistics, it is a subfield of microlinguistics that deals with the analysis of language structure and their function in communication. So theoretical linguistics is basically has the same subfield as microlinguistics. For further explanation about these branches of microlinguistics will be continued by my friend Elvina.
The letter T in cat, where the...
Thank you so much for your time, Cindy. In this occasion, I will be explaining about branches of the microlinguistics. So the first one is phonetics. According to Fromkin with his book Introduction to Linguistics, phonetics is one of the branches of linguistics that studies the physical basis of language sounds. It also studies how to work those body organs that are related to the use of production of the sound coming from a human. One of the example is the letter T in cat and the letter R in car. For further explanation will be in the video.
Vocal cords stop vibrating, causing the T sound to be a result of the placement of the tongue behind the teeth and the flow of air. Another example is the letter R in car, where the R sound is paying close attention to the final sound of the word. The words ate and...
Okay, so the next one is phonology. So according to Fromkin with his book Introduction to Linguistics, phonology is a branch of linguistics that studies language sounds according to their function. It talks about the language sound produced by human speech tools. Stated by Ken Jono in Basics of Linguistics, phonology studies the characteristics of speech sound and how the function of the sound is. For example, is the word ate and butter, which will be explained in the video.
And butter. Both have the letter T, but they pronounce differently based on the other letters around them. The T in 8 is combined with an H, whereas the T in butter is combined with another T, and they have different sounds, and therefore, when they are spelled out phonetically, they have different symbols. Rabbit and S.
Okay, the next one is morphology. According to Yule from the book The Study of Language, Morphology is one of the branches of linguistics that studies the form of words and formation. It learns about the arrangement of the words and formation of the words. For example, the word rabbit and S, which will be explained in the video.
Are examples of the smallest unpredictable combination of form and meaning. Linguists call these units morphemes, and the study of them is morphology. Julie hit the ball. The
next one is syntax. According to Andrew Carey from his book Syntax, syntax is one of the branches in linguistics that studies the internal structure of the sentences and the interrelationships amongst all the internal parts, especially the cognitive science. For example, is the sentence Julie hit the ball.
basic syntax follows a SVO formula, or the subject plus the verb plus direct object of formula. Several words can
The next one is semantics. According to Krida Laksana and Linguistic Dictionary, semantics studies the meaning of expression and also the structure of the meaning in a conversation. For example, the words happy, glad, and joyful are a synonym, and inside and outside are an antonym. Further explanation will be in the video.
have about the same definition. They are synonyms like happy, glad, and joyful. Also, two words can have an opposite definition, which is the antonyms like inside and outside. Conversation between
And last but not least is pragmatics. Pragmatics, according to G. M. Leach from the book Principles of Pragmatics, is related to speech and its situation. It studies of how context can affect the meaning of the words. For example, is the conversation between these two persons, which will be explained in the video.
two persons. Let's pretend that I am talking with Julie. The conversation goes like this. Hey Julie, do you want to have a picnic?
It's raining.
We can probably infer that Julie was declining my picnic suggestion, but technically speaking, Julie didn't actually say yes or no. Thus, we have to point out that the picnic sentence and the raining sentence don't have to be related. It's only because we have an understanding to context and cooperation that we interpret them as related.
Okay, so that is all about the branches of microlinguistics. The next one is an explanation about microlinguistics, which will be presented by my friend Rahadian. Rahadian, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. Now I will explain the branch of linguistics, which is macrolinguistic. So according to Lyons, who was cited by Krida Laksana Kanjono, macrolinguistic is a branch of linguistics that examines the relationship between language and non-linguistic elements. The larger field of linguistics is known as macrolinguistic. It includes all linguistic features that support speech production and reception, as well as language literary or communicative function. And it also addresses how language are learned, retained in the brain, and utilized for a variety of purposes, including the independence of language and cultural, sociological, and psychological factors that influence the language behavior. Macrolinguistics examines how language interact with all of the factors outside the language itself. And the branches of macrolinguistics are sociolinguistic, psycholinguistic, neurolinguistic, and anthropological linguistic. For the further explanation of branches of macrolinguistics will be presented by my friends Firstia.
Okay, thank you, Rahadian, for the opportunity that given to me. In this occasion, I would like to explain for the most important branches in macrolinguistics. So the first is sociolinguistics. According to the Peter Trotkill, that quoted on the article that I read, sociolinguistics is study of the relation between language and society. Usually it studies about language use in structured society. Factors behind sociolinguistics are social background, relationship between speaker, and the context and manner of interaction. Sociolinguistics includes anthropological linguistics, dialectology, discourse analysis, ethnography of speaking, geolinguistic, language context studies, secular linguistics, the social psychology of language, and sociology of language. The example of the sociolinguistic to get someone's attention in English age of the utterance, like hey, excuse me, sir, or ma'am. Next slide. Second is psycholinguistics. According to the language dictionary, psycholinguistics studies about a relationship between language and psychology. It studies about the role of human name and cognitive structure in language acquisition, and also studies how language is represented and produced in a brain. For the example, a child saying I want milk, may result in the child receiving a glass of milk, and this reinforces or conditions the use of this verbal behavior. Next slide. Third is neurolinguistic. According to the language dictionary, neurolinguistic is the study between a relation of language and human brain. It addresses the human brain like how is the linguistic knowledge represented in the brain? Because in the fact, the study of human language is fraught in difficulties. So it studies brain damage patients who suffer from language disorders. For the example, there is a person who reads the word banana in a book. Immediately, the brain recalls the meaning of the word. In addition, their brain also recalls how a banana smells, feels, and tastes. Next. The last but not least is anthropological linguistics. According to the Longman Dictionary, anthropological linguistics is the subfield between linguistics and anthropology, which is still
Okay, I think first I have a trouble connection. I will continue that. So, which is deal with the place of language in its wider social and cultural context. Linguistic anthropology explore how language shapes communication as a role of social identify, group membership, and establishing cultural belief and ideologies. Okay, for the example, will
Can
be.
you hear my voice?
Yes.
My connection is bad.
Okay, continue from the example.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. For the example, there is a person is speaking a sentence in English but completes his or her thought in Spanish, and the listener understands and continues the conversation in a similar way. That's all about the explanation for the branches of macrolinguistics. The times back to the present.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, this is the reason why we should learn microlinguistics and macrolinguistics. We, as a future teacher, we should to know about the reason why we should learn micro and macrolinguistics, because the teacher will later explain the rules of the language correctly. If the teacher master linguistic knowledge, then the knowledge that will be taught for the students will not be wrong. Yeah, we as a future teacher should know how to pronounce the right one, how to use the grammar, how to make a correct sentence, how to speak it correctly, and all of that is part of micro and macro linguistics. So because of that, we should learn and also master it. Okay, that's all about our presentation. Last but not least, thank you so much.